In FinTech, handling cardholder data automatically places your platform under PCI DSS compliance requirements. Whether you are building a payment gateway, lending platform, wallet, subscription engine, or marketplace, PCI compliance is not optional. It directly impacts your architecture, development approach, and overall investment. In this video, we will break down the realistic cost of developing a PCI-compliant FinTech app in 2026 and what drives that investment. Let us begin with a critical distinction. The cost of PCI compliance depends heavily on whether your app stores or processes raw cardholder data, or whether you offload that responsibility to a third-party payment processor using tokenization. If your system directly stores, processes, or transmits card data within your own infrastructure, the development and compliance costs are significantly higher. If you integrate with PCI-compliant providers such as Stripe or similar processors and avoid handling raw card data yourself, the compliance burden is reduced. Now let us talk numbers. For a FinTech app that integrates with third-party PCI-compliant processors and avoids direct card storage, development typically ranges between $80,000 and $150,000 for a secure, properly architected platform with encryption, secure APIs, logging, and access control. If your FinTech app handles cardholder data within your own infrastructure and requires full PCI DSS scope compliance, the investment increases substantially. In this case, development costs typically fall between $150,000 and $300,000, depending on system complexity, transaction volume, and integration depth. For enterprise-grade FinTech platforms with high transaction volumes, multi-region deployments, advanced fraud systems, and full PCI Level 1 requirements, total development and compliance investment can reach $300,000 to $600,000 or more. Now let us break down what drives these costs. Secure architecture design is the first major cost factor. PCI compliance requires network segmentation, encrypted communication channels, isolated cardholder data environments, and hardened infrastructure. Designing this correctly adds engineering effort early in the project. Encryption and key management systems are another cost driver. Card data must be encrypted both in transit and at rest. Secure key storage, rotation policies, and key access restrictions must be implemented and documented. Identity and access management also increases development effort. Role-based access control, multi-factor authentication, and least privilege policies must be built into the system. Every access point to card data must be controlled and logged. Secure coding and vulnerability management require additional resources. PCI compliance mandates regular security testing, static code analysis, penetration testing, and remediation cycles. These activities increase both development time and testing costs. Logging and monitoring infrastructure adds another layer of investment. PCI requires detailed audit logs for access, system changes, and payment activity. These logs must be protected from tampering and reviewed regularly. Compliance validation and audit preparation also carry cost. Depending on your transaction volume, you may require quarterly vulnerability scans, annual assessments, or a qualified security assessor review. These external audit and scanning costs typically range from $15,000 to $50,000 annually, depending on scope. Ongoing compliance maintenance must also be considered. PCI compliance is not a one-time project. Infrastructure updates, new features, vendor changes, and scaling can expand your compliance scope, requiring continuous review and monitoring. Another key cost factor is integration complexity. If your FinTech app connects to multiple banks, processors, fraud systems, and APIs, each integration must be secured and validated under PCI standards. More integrations increase development and compliance effort. Development team location also influences budget. United States-based teams typically command higher rates, while experienced engineering teams in Eastern Europe or South Asia can deliver compliant systems at a lower overall cost without compromising security. It is important to understand that PCI compliance is not just about avoiding penalties. A breach involving cardholder data can result in fines, reputational damage, and loss of banking partnerships that far exceed development investment. Enterprises that design PCI compliance into architecture from the beginning reduce long-term cost, speed up audits, and build stronger trust with partners and customers. At Intellivon, we help fintech enterprises design and develop PCI-compliant applications with secure infrastructure, encrypted data environments, audit-ready systems, and scalable architecture. Our approach integrates compliance into development from day one. If you are planning to build a PCI-compliant fintech app and want clarity on cost and architecture strategy, we are ready to help. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.